The airport terminal hummed with frustrated travelers staring at delayed flight notifications. Claire Morrison held her 4-year-old daughter Emma close, trying to stay calm despite the chaos. The board showed her flight to Chicago, where her mother lay in the hospital after a stroke, delayed indefinitely due to the snowstorm outside. She had $47 in her account, a maxed-out credit card, and a child who needed dinner. "Mama, I'm hungry," Emma whispered, clinging to Claire's blue blazer. "I know, sweetheart. We'll get something soon." Claire scanned the terminal for the cheapest food option, her heart sinking at the inflated airport prices. At 28, Claire had learned to stretch every dollar. She was a medical assistant at a free clinic, working double shifts to support Emma after her ex-boyfriend had left the moment she'd told him she was pregnant. She'd built a life from nothing, but it was always precarious, always one emergency away from collapse. This emergency, her mother's stroke, had wiped out her emergency fund. The plane ticket had taken her last savings. She couldn't afford food and a hotel if the flight got canceled. Claire was calculating whether she could afford a small snack to share when Emma suddenly tugged her hand. "Mama? That man is staring at us." Claire looked up to see a man in an expensive suit standing across the terminal. He was probably in his early 30s, with dark hair and sharp features. But it wasn't his clothes that made Claire's breath catch, it was his face. She knew that face. He started walking toward them, his expression shifting from shock to something complicated. When he got close enough, he spoke. "Claire? Claire Morrison?" Her heart hammered. Alex Bennett? "Do you still remember me?" he asked, a ghost of their old connection in his voice. "How could I forget?" Claire whispered. They stared at each other while the terminal bustled around them. 10 years dissolved in an instant. High school sweethearts, first love, the future they'd planned before life tore them apart. Emma tugged Claire's hand again. "Mama, who is he?" Alex looked down at Emma with visible surprise. "You have a daughter." "Yes, this is Emma." Claire held her daughter closer, suddenly self-conscious. "Emma, this is Mr. Bennett. We knew each other a long time ago." "Were you Mama's friend?" Emma asked with a child's directness. "I was," Alex said, his voice soft. "I was her very good friend." An awkward silence stretched between them. Claire saw Alex taking in her appearance, the cheap blazer she wore for professional occasions, the worn bag, the exhaustion in her face. She saw herself through his eyes and felt shame burn through her. "You look," Alex started. "I know," Claire interrupted. "I look nothing like I did in high school. Life happened. I was going to say you look tired. Are you okay?" The genuine concern in his voice nearly broke her. "I'm fine. Just waiting for a delayed flight to Chicago. My mother had a stroke. I'm trying to get there, but..." She gestured at the board. "Everything's delayed. I'm sorry about your mother." "That must be terrifying." Alex paused. "Have you eaten?" "You both look. Would you let me buy you dinner while we wait?" Pride warred with hunger. Emma chose for her. "Mama, can we? I'm really hungry." "We don't need..." "Please," Alex said. "I'm stuck here too. I'd appreciate the company, and honestly, I'd like to catch up." "It's been 10 years," Claire nodded, too tired to fight. "Okay, thank you." They found a restaurant in the terminal. Alex ordered generously, meals for Claire and Emma, appetizers, drinks. Emma devoured chicken fingers with the hunger of a child who'd been living on careful portions. Claire forced herself to eat slowly to maintain some dignity despite how empty her stomach was. "So," Alex said after they'd settled in, "tell me about the last 10 years. What happened after..." He stopped, the question hanging between them. "After you left," Claire finished silently. "After your parents convinced you I wasn't good enough. After you chose Princeton over us. I stayed local," Claire said carefully. "Went to community college, studied to be a medical assistant. Now I work at a free clinic. It doesn't pay much, but I help people who need it. And Emma's father, not in the picture. Never was, really. He didn't want to be a father." Claire smiled at Emma. "But she's the best thing that ever happened to me. Everything I do is for her." Alex was quiet, studying them both. "You always wanted to help people. I remember you talking about becoming a doctor. That dream required money I didn't have. Medical assistant was realistic. Practical. She met his eyes. What about you? You look like you've done well. I'm CEO of Bennett Tech Solutions, my father's company. I took over 2 years ago when he retired. Of course, Alex had always been destined for success. His parents had made sure of that, including making sure Claire, the girl from the wrong side of town, didn't derail their son's future. So you got everything you wanted, Claire said. Unable to keep the edge from her voice, did I? Alex looked at her intensely. I got success. I got wealth. I got the career my parents planned for me. But I didn't get everything I wanted. What does that mean? It means I've thought about you every single day for 10 years. Wondering what happened to you. Wondering if I made the right choice. Claire's throat tightened. You made the choice your parents wanted. Princeton. The executive track, the perfect career. You chose correctly. I chose what was expected. I'm not sure that's the same as choosing correctly. Emma, picking up on the tension, tugged Alex's sleeve. Do you make Mama sad? She looks sad when she talks to you. Alex looked stricken. I hope not. I never wanted to make your mama sad. I made her sad a long time ago, and I've regretted it ever since. Why did you make her sad? Because I was young and scared, and I let my parents convince me that money and success were more important than love. I was wrong. Claire felt tears threatening. Alex, don't. I need to say this. I've needed to say it for 10 years. He looked at her directly. I loved you. I was 17 and I loved you more than I understood how to handle. When my parents told me you'd hold me back, that I needed to focus on my future, I believed them. I broke up with you to go to Princeton, and it's the biggest mistake I've ever made. You can't just... It's been 10 years. You don't get to say this now. I know. I know it's too late. I know you've built a life, raised a beautiful daughter, become someone remarkable without me. But I need you to know that leaving you wasn't because you weren't enough. It was because I was a coward. Emma watched them both with serious eyes, sensing the adult emotions she couldn't fully understand. The PA system interrupted. Attention passengers. All flights to Chicago have been canceled due to the storm. The airport is closing. Please make alternative arrangements. Claire's face went white. She couldn't afford a hotel. She had nowhere to go. Alex saw her panic. What's wrong? I can't. I don't have money for a hotel. I used everything for the plane ticket. I thought I'd be on my way to Mom by now. Come with me, Alex said immediately. What? I have a hotel room. Suite, actually, at the airport hotel. It has a separate bedroom. You and Emma can stay there. I'll take the couch. I can't accept... Claire, please. Let me help you. Not because I'm trying to buy anything or make up for the past. But because you need help, I can give it. And I can't live with myself if I let you and your daughter spend the night on airport benches. Claire looked at Emma, exhausted and scared. She swallowed her pride. Okay, thank you. The hotel suite was more luxurious than anywhere Claire had ever stayed. Emma's eyes went wide at the space. Alex ordered room service, proper meals, dessert for Emma. Everything Claire had been too proud to accept at the restaurant. After Emma fell asleep in the bedroom, Claire and Alex sat in the suite's living area, and the conversation they'd been avoiding for 10 years finally happened. What happened to you? Alex asked. After I left? I graduated high school, Claire said. Alone. You'd gone to Princeton, moved on quickly from what I heard. I went to community college, worked 3 jobs, barely survived. Met Emma's father when I was 23. He seemed stable, kind. Turned out he was neither. Left the moment I told him I was pregnant. I'm sorry, don't be. I have Emma. She's worth every struggle. Claire paused. What about you? Wife, kids? The life your parents wanted for you? No wife, no kids? I dated people my parents approved of. The right backgrounds, right families. None of it meant anything. I kept comparing everyone to you. Don't romanticize what we had, Claire said. We were teenagers who loved each other honestly, who talked about building a life together, who didn't care that you were from the South Side and I was from money. That honesty is rare, Claire. I've never found it again because you chose not to. You chose your parents' path. I did. And I've regretted it every day since. Alex looked at her intently. Can I ask you something? If I could go back, if I could change that choice, would it matter? Or is it too late? Claire felt tears spill over. It's been 10 years. I've built a life. I have a daughter. You're a CEO living a life I couldn't possibly fit into. Yes, Alex, it's too late. What if it doesn't have to be? What are you saying? I'm saying I have resources now that I didn't have at 17. I'm saying I can help you with your mother's medical bills, with Emma's future, with building the life you deserve. Not as charity, but because I owe you 10 years of support I should have given. I don't want your money, Claire said fiercely. I've survived on my own. I don't need rescuing. I know you don't need it. But what if you didn't have to struggle alone anymore? What if someone who loves you wanted to help carry the weight? Loves me? Alex, you don't know me anymore. I'm not the girl you left. I'm a single mother working at a free clinic, living paycheck to paycheck, exhausted all the time. I'm not the dream you've been romanticizing. You're stronger, braver, and more remarkable than that girl ever was. You've raised a beautiful daughter alone. You've built a career helping people despite having nothing. You've survived everything life threw at you. That's who I see. That's who I've been looking for in every person I've met for 10 years. Claire stood, pacing. This is crazy. We ran into each other in an airport. That doesn't erase 10 years. That doesn't make us who we were. You're right. We're not who we were. We're better. Older, wiser, scarred, but surviving. Maybe that's exactly when we're ready to try again. I have a daughter to think about. I can't just... I know. And I wouldn't ask you to risk her stability for some fantasy. But what if it's not a fantasy? What if it's two people who never stopped loving each other finally getting a second chance? Claire looked at this man who'd broken her heart, who'd chosen his parents' path over their love, who now stood here offering her everything she'd never let herself want. I need time, she said. This is too much, too fast. My mother is in the hospital. I'm stranded in a strange city. Emma needs stability. I can't make life-changing decisions in an airport hotel at midnight. Fair enough. But can I ask for one thing? What? Don't disappear again. Let me help with your mother's care. Let me be part of your life, whatever that looks like. Let me prove I'm not the scared 17-year-old who chose wrong. Give me a chance to choose right this time. Claire looked through the doorway at Emma sleeping peacefully. She thought about her mother in the hospital, about the life she'd built from nothing, about the terrifying possibility that maybe, despite everything, second chances could be real. Okay, she whispered, but slowly, carefully. I won't let anyone hurt my daughter. I wouldn't hurt either of you for anything in the world. Alex helped Claire get to Chicago the next day on a private plane he arranged. He paid for her mother's medical care, including specialists her insurance wouldn't cover. He spent weeks visiting, never pushing, just being present for Claire and Emma. Slowly, carefully, they rebuilt what had been broken. Alex learned to be patient, to prove through actions that he'd changed. Claire learned to trust again, to accept help, to believe that love could be stronger the second time around. A year later, Alex proposed in the same airport terminal where they'd reunited. Emma, now 5, and his enthusiastic co-conspirator, presented Claire with a ring. Mama, Mr. Alex wants to be my daddy. Can he, please? Claire looked at Alex, tears streaming down her face. You're sure? About all of this? About a ready-made family? I'm sure about loving you. About loving Emma. About not wasting another day without the family I was too stupid to fight for 10 years ago. Then yes. Absolutely yes. At their wedding, Alex's parents attended, having slowly come to respect the woman who'd raised such a remarkable daughter and who'd made their son genuinely happy for the first time in his life. Claire gave a toast about second chances and the courage it takes to trust again. 10 years ago, someone I loved chose a path that didn't include me. I was devastated, but that heartbreak led me to Emma, taught me strength, made me who I am. And now, impossibly, that same person has found his way back, not to the girl I was, but to the woman I became. Sometimes our greatest losses become our most important lessons. Sometimes the people we lose return when we're finally ready to receive them. And sometimes a delayed flight in a snowstorm is exactly the divine intervention we needed. Emma, now Alex's adopted daughter, stood between them beaming. She'd been there the night everything changed. The catalyst who'd made her mother accept help, who'd seen with a child's clarity that this man loved them. Years later, when Emma asked about how they'd met, Claire told her the truth. Mr. Alex and I loved each other when we were very young. We lost each other because we weren't ready. But then, In an airport when we needed each other most, we found each other again. And this time, we were ready. Because sometimes first love deserves a second chance. Sometimes the person who broke your heart is the only one who can truly heal it. And sometimes, a canceled flight in a snowstorm is the universe giving you exactly what you didn't know you were still waiting for. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales about second chances and love that finds its way home. Comment about a time when you reconnected with someone from your past. Sometimes the best love stories are the ones that take years to write.